Hello, I'm Chris from Watson and Chris, and this is day 5 of me tapering off of bupropion after taking it for more than 20 years. So today's Friday. This is the 5th day that I've been taking the 75 milligram dose, down from 150 of the XL, and it's going really well. Today has been a good day. I've got energy. My head is pretty clear. The only major side effects I'm really feeling are some lightheadedness, a little not quite dizziness, but or not unsteady on my feet, but just I'm feeling a little off. But I'm not having bad brain fog. I'm able to think pretty clearly, and for the first time in about a week, I think I'm able to get back to doing more detailed planning for uh, what to do. For example, coming up with stuff every day for what I want to do on here. Because up till now, it's just been whatever sort of pops into my head, and getting real organized has been just about impossible. Want to thank my many subscribers. I did really and thanks, guys. Thanks for the comments, positive comments. I need to sit down and reply to some of y'all's things. I appreciate the feedback, appreciate the support, the commiseration, as it were. Uh, it means a lot to me. I really genuinely thought it'd be like a month before anybody even watched these videos, let alone anybody wanted to watch more than one. So, uh, gonna try to. Hopefully, this will get a little more exciting and interesting. And once I come off of bupropion entirely, it's definitely gonna be at least a few rough days in there. But right now, I am doing good. I am on track to take this dose for another week, and then try coming off entirely from the Wellbutrin. And I haven't been. Yeah, I need to go back and rewatch some of these videos because I know I've been a little scattered and all over the place, but that's just been my state of mind in that time. Didn't really talk much about what all drugs I am taking and why. Um, I've touched on it some. So obviously, there's depression, anxiety, and some ADD symptoms. Also have symptoms of PTSD, which is kind of funny because I don't have any traumatic thing going on. There's some periods of chronic stress, which can cause PTSD sorts of phenomenon. But for years, I had a therapist who was telling me all the time, "I think you've got PTSD." It was the therapist at the VA, so probably should have listened a little bit better. And then turns out, yeah, I've got a lot of symptoms of PTSD, and I've had just one like bad flashback though, and that was boy, that was yeah, that sent me to the ER. I ended up having heart palpitations, and I could feel an irregular rhythm once I got to the ER, and they got me all hooked up. Then I was fine. They didn't detect any arrhythmia, but there's definitely something there. And that was, and ironically, it was at a conference about primarily about PTSD, and I saw a bunch of people I used to work with uh, in the military. And so I guess it's not military trauma though. Never been in a firefight, never been deployed, never had anything really harmful like that happen to me. Just chronic stress, mostly from being going through a terrible depressive state while going through extremely stressful training, and kind of breaking down, and even having had a couple of dissociative episodes during that time. That was rough. I didn't have a great time in the military. Started off good, but ended pretty badly. But I mean, honorable discharge and all, so can't complain. Plus, I'm a disabled veteran now because of knee pain and back pain and all that stuff. So that's something. But yeah, so the medications that I'm currently taking now, the bupropion and lamictal, lamotrigine, but the two main drugs I've taken for mental health. And I've been on that combination for over 20 years. The lamictal is fantastic, and the combination of Wellbutrin and lamictal together was the first drug combination that made me actually feel normal. And that was 21 years ago when I started that combination. And I'd been on Wellbutrin prior to that too. I was hospitalized briefly, for about, it was less than a week. I was real suicidal back in 2000, I think it was. Yeah, I had a bad episode, ended up in a very nice private institution for a bit, and it was overall a positive experience. But I'd be happy to talk about that more at some later time about that whole experience, because and it was voluntary commitment, but you're still signing like a 72-hour. You place yourself under a 72-hour hold. So you once you sign on the paper, you're not going anywhere. You are stuck. You are in that hospital. Even though it was nice with pretty grounds outside and a picnic table and a gym, and you could do all sorts of fun stuff, and they had activities and all that. That was, even with all that, it was still rough and scary. And it was not like a lockdown hospital ward. I mean, it was, yeah, we were all behind locked doors the whole time, but it wasn't like being stuck in a hospital ward like the old Charity Hospital in New Orleans. They had 2 psych wards there, and spent some time working in those. Exactly. But anyway, talk about that later some other time. But the Lamictal and bupropion was a fantastic combination, worked well for a long time. Didn't have a lot of side effects. I mean, the Lamictal, I don't think I've had any major side effects from. Bupropion, I did have when I was at the higher dose, the highest dose, around 300 milligrams a day. I did at one point have difficulty hearing. It wasn't, there were any frequencies I was missing. I just had trouble making, understanding language. So if somebody was speaking real low or real softly, I couldn't understand them at all. And even watching TV, a lot of times I'd have to put on the closed captioning. But being at a lower dose, that was never a problem. And the once a day dosing, that was not a big deal. I guess it's when I was doing like 150 twice a day, I think. That was bad. But yeah, the Lamictal, actually, when I went on the Lamictal and Wellbutrin combination, it was, I lost a bunch of weight, and it was really great. I went down like a size or so in clothes, and had to get new clothes, and then eventually gained the weight back. But I had ballooned up to like 250 pounds at one point, from not being able to do things, having lots of pain, and being on all the medication and stuff, and really held on to that weight for a long time. But I'm down to about 205 right now. I put on a little weight this last year. But as I was talking about yesterday, I'm working my way back towards something better. And I've got to say, I turned 50 this year, or last September. And I have to say, at 50, I feel like I'm in better shape than I was. I was definitely physically overall in better shape than I was at 40. Before my 40th birthday, I was walking with a cane because back pain and knee pain that was just absolutely terrible, and had a lot of the problems going on then. But a lot of that's cleared up now just from losing weight and getting back in shape a little bit, and also removing myself from a lot of stressful situations. And I was having some exposures at work that were causing some inflammation. I've got a lot of allergies. But allergy shots helped with that. So that's so medication wise, I'm staying on the Lamictal because that works. It's a good mood stabilizer. And when I first went on it, it was not the combination of the Wellbutrin and Lamictal was not a common one. My shrink actually found some good. He was reading journal articles. I was looking for stuff to help me, like, specifically, and found some good research that was showing that it was good for people with some atypical symptoms or atypical presentation of depression, which is what I have, I guess. And now they call it bipolar depression. At the time, it was like depression with atypical features not otherwise specified, anxiety disorder not otherwise specified, personality disorder, cluster whatever not otherwise specified. Whichever one, narcissistic personality disorders, and that's where I'm. So I've got a nice big combination of things that'll add up to crazy. Although most of the time I can play it off as just being eccentric and a little odd, which is, it works for me. Eccentric works very well for me, especially at my age now. I can wear any kind of hat I want, and nobody says a darn thing. It's nice. It's very freeing. Finally learning when you don't need to care what other people think about you. Although it takes some wisdom to discern when you shouldn't care what other people think and when you should care at least a little bit what some people think. Yeah. And the only other psych med I'm on right now is buspirone, Buspar, as a anti-anxiety drug, and I specifically went on it 3 weeks ago now in order to help me with this tapering off. Because when I tried the cold turkey about a month ago, like I said, three days in, and I was getting the bupropion out, taking it, and being like, please, I'll take two. If I would have taken two if I thought that would have helped. And even that, just being off it for missing like 2.5 days, that really set me back. That threw me right back into the pit there. That was not nice. But gotten through that, and so far I'm getting through this. And if this is I don't know, still might have some bad days coming up. And might just be feeling funky for the next few days. But I'm actually feeling really good overall. Kind of makes me worry that I'm missing something. I'm overlooking something that's going on with me that's a big red flag, but I can't think of anything can't think of anything like that. So I have tried to messing with some videos. My camera, it turns out, I got a new camera, and the videos it's been taking are not very good. So I might have to find an old camera to take some better pictures of the dog. Watson, he's hiding back there somewhere, but so I am having some emotional ups and downs. No real bad big dips though, but I'll go from like laughing at something to being, oh, that's funny, and then maybe life is a little bit meaningless. So there's still darkness at the edges, but most everything is pretty cheery right now. So hopefully this weekend, I can be getting some stuff done today around the house. Got some laundry done yesterday, I guess. Did some cooking. I got some more cooking to do tonight. I gotta say, cooking meals and not buying stuff that's prepared and prepackaged, lots of chips and cookies and stuff like that, has really helped me eat less, which has been a good way to lose weight. And because now if I want to eat something, I have to actually cook and prepare something. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. And I have to, and I also have to eat. I have to eat and have to eat regularly, or else it sets off various problems. So, if you're looking for a good way to lose weight, stop buying processed food and start making everything yourself. I mean, not everything, but, just stuff that isn't prepackaged, pre-cooked, and all that. That's been good for my health, I think. Although I need to have some more blood tests done, because the last time I had blood tests done, I ended up in the hospital the same day for some. That was a bad day. Only time I've ever been hospitalized in my life. And it was intractable nausea and vomiting, and I had some sort of weird colitis that I think was probably an infectious colitis. They pumped me full of lots of good, expensive drugs. I got Zofran a lot, even some Ativan for the nausea, and that was rough, but came through that. So, and that again, medications and stuff playing into that. Oh, one thing I did want to mention that I don't think I went into before is some of the things that I think might be related to bupropion side effects that I've developed over the years that I'm not certain about because they're really uncommon. And one of the big things is called vasoactive amine intolerance. So vasoactive amines include specific chemicals such as dopamine and norepinephrine. Dopamine, norepinephrine, serotonin, which are all neurotransmitters in your brain, but they also do things in other parts of the body, specifically in the gastrointestinal tract. So dopamine in your brain, good. Dopamine in your in your intestines, not always good. And I forget what year it was that I discovered my first symptoms of intolerance, and it was with bananas. And it took me at least a week or more to figure out what had caused me to be sick. And it turns out it was bananas, which I would think would be the last thing in the world that would make me sick. But apparently, I hadn't had any bananas in a few years. Decided to get a few bananas and make myself a peanut butter banana sandwich, which used to be one of my favorite sandwiches to have. And so I made a nice peanut butter and banana sandwich to go to work, and I had a little banana left, put it on a bowl of cereal. Ate that and was fine, but after about an hour and a half of being at work, I had to leave and come home because I started feeling really crummy and sick to my stomach and a little bloated. Laid down, took a nap, got up later, and it was fine. And that was just like about a quarter of a banana at the most. And then went on and did stuff later that night. Ate a bunch of other weird stuff, that all sorts of things that I thought could have been making me sick. And it was fine the rest of that night. Then I decided, I've got this sandwich. I'll eat that sandwich that I didn't have for lunch. And ate that. Next thing I know, I'm puking my guts out. My stomach's all bloated. I'm dizzy and confused. Don't know what the heck's going on. And then after 6-7 hours, it just stopped. And I was completely fine again. So it took me a while to figure out what was going on there. And just had to try the different types of new foods. I was eating a lot of fermented stuff. Even making like cultured butter from cultured milk, and doing some homemade soda, carbonated with yeast, and stuff like that. And it was stuff I finally figured out. It's bananas. So I don't know if I can eat cooked bananas or not. So the cooked bananas cooking might destroy enough of whichever things it is that's in it that I'm sensitive to, which I think is dopamine. But there's also there's a lot of norepinephrine and serotonin and bananas and a bunch of other fruits. And you can also have a latex allergy that shows up as a sensitivity to bananas and avocados and things like that. So in addition to bananas, so the other fruits that I can't eat raw, banana, pineapple, mango, those are things that I actually eat. The things that I like to eat, but I don't eat. There's most fruits and vegetables I don't like, and I'm allergic to a lot of different things like melons and all that. And tomatoes, it turns out, most of the tomato I've eaten in my life has been in sauce and stuff. I don't eat a lot of raw tomato, and it turns out that was making me sick too. Not as bad as the others, but the mango and avocado and banana are absolutely terrible. I can't eat a bite. If I eat something if I took a bite of something and swallowed it and found it had mango or banana or avocado in it, I would put my fingers down my throat and throw it back up, because it's that horrible. And the last time I had real fresh mangoes, it was delicious. It was a mango lassi, homemade yogurt, fresh mangoes, mango nectar, all whipped up in a blender, and just the tastiest darn thing ever. But within about a half hour of it hitting my stomach, started just feeling crappy, and I end up with my stomach being bloated to where I can't wear anything that doesn't have an elastic waist. And I had bad nausea. Don't usually get vomiting anymore, just that first time with the bananas. But absolutely miserable, and it lasts for 6 hours. So from the time that the symptoms really kick in, it goes for 6 hours and then stops. And then I pass some gas and pee a little, and I feel fine. But that 6 hours is absolutely miserable. It's got to be what being pregnant's like in the around 8-9 months there. Uncomfortable to lay on your back because you just got this big bloated belly. Can't lay on your stomach because you got a big bloated belly. You just kind of have to lay on one side or the other, put a wet towel on your head, and watch some TV and trying to get some rest. And yeah, but it doesn't even take that much of some of the stuff. The mango, I had just a little bitty cup of some mango chutney with some that was delicious with some fried shrimp at a place here in town. And I didn't even know that I didn't even see the mango on the menu. They brought me the wrong thing. Brought me something I didn't order, which I'm kind of glad they did because it was much better than what I had ordered. It was still grilled shrimp, but the yeah, the mango sauce was just, it was almost worth being sick for. It was that good. But yeah, so that's a weird thing. Never really understood it. It's not an allergic reaction at all. And the only explanation is the vasoactive amine intolerance. And at the time that I first had, I mean, this was probably close to 15 years ago. The first happened, maybe around 2012 or so. And so there was, and I went on the internet, I was looking up information, and it took me a while to find anything about bananas. And people having reactions to bananas that weren't allergic reactions. So if you're eating things, especially fruits, any sort of fresh fruit, and getting weird symptoms like the bloating, the nausea, the vomiting, and you're not having rash and other stuff like that, you might have a vasoactive amine intolerance, and you might want to look into that. There's some, I haven't looked on any websites lately to see that way, and I don't know of any treatments for it either. I take Reglan now, metoclopramide, which is for when I have gastroparesis. It also helps with some of the ticks and tremors that I get. And I haven't tried that with any of the banana, mango, avocado stuff because I just avoid those foods entirely to the point that I don't like banana flavored things that much anymore because it just reminds me of being sick. I do still enjoy mango flavored things sometimes, but still I'm real cautious about it. And avocado I don't like to begin with, but it's in sushi and some other stuff that's pretty good. I hate guacamole, so I'm not missing out. But the banana and mango, that's, man, that hurts. Bananas used to be my favorite fruit. I'd say mango is probably a close second. Not that I'd ever eat a fresh mango, but it's always good and stuff. But that's life with weird medical things and chronic problems. It's, you never know what's going to pop up next. So, yeah, the vasoactive amine intolerance. So that is a weird thing that I think, I mean, the best I can figure is at that point I'd been taking antidepressants for almost 15 years, or close to it. Yeah, one type or another. Effexor and Remeron and something else for a little while. And then Wellbutrin at one point, and then off of that to something else. Yeah. So all that stuff, and all these things that so they work as reuptake inhibitors, which is where neurons use neurotransmitters to talk to each other, and so they shoot out like dopamine, and then the dopamine gets taken up by the cells and then it can get reused. But what the reuptake inhibitors do is they prevent it from being taken up by the in the synapses once it's been used. So it hangs out for longer in the synapses where neurons are communicating with each other. That's allegedly how that's not allegedly. That's what research shows that's what's going on with how these drugs work. And SSRIs never worked well for me. But bupropion being dopamine reuptake inhibitor, norepi reuptake inhibitor, really seem to do the trick. It has a lot of, especially increasing norepi is sort of activating, more stimulating. And so the atomoxetine that I'm on for concentration for presumed adult onset attention deficit disorder. That's a norepi reuptake inhibitor as well. So that has worked well with the concentration stuff, but has also made some of the bupropion side effects worse in that time. And I mentioned briefly before about how they're both metabolized by the same enzymes. One of the cytochrome P whatever enzymes. And so there's different ways that drugs can interact with one another. Like taking one drug can make another drug less effective. Taking one drug can make another drug more effective, or can affect the clearance and all that stuff. But the way these two work together, the atomoxetine and the bupropion, is if you're taking them together, it slows down the metabolism of both of them. So you end up with higher levels in your system of both of them. And so the norepi end of things, that seems to be working well. I want to keep that, but the dopamine end of things I don't need. So when all is said and done, I'll be on lamictal and atomoxetine. And hopefully off of the buspirone, because I don't think I'll need that once I'm completely recovered from coming off the bupropion. So, and I don't know how long that's going to take. I mean, that might be a couple months before I feel 100%. Or back close to 100%. Well, we'll see. I have no idea where this is going to go. I do know I'm going to try to work on filming these in the daytime when I can get some good natural light in here. I don't have to deal with the poor placement of lighting for doing videos. I did not lay out my little office setup here. Planning on doing a lot of video stuff. And definitely I wasn't planning on doing any of this. So, yeah, so that's it for today. Having a good day. Hopefully tomorrow is going to be another good day. And if I have, so by next Monday, I might be coming off the bupropion entirely. And, well, we'll see how that goes. I'm a little nervous and definitely a little concerned that things could go, it could get bad, but that's what doctors are for. So I've got another appointment set up with my doctor in 2 weeks to see how this is all going. And some of you might have noticed I was wearing the same shirt the last few videos. It's because I didn't shower for a few days because I was not feeling great. But today I got a shower. Finally trimmed my hair and beard for the first time in a month or two, and gotta tell you, shaving, a haircut, and a hot shower makes you feel like a new man. And man, even with this poor quality, I see all my wrinkles and horrible spots. But I think I'm doing pretty good for 50. So, like this video, subscribe if you want to see more of this. And if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments. I'm very happy that it's nice not feeling that I've never been completely alone in this, but it's nice that there's other people out there, complete and total strangers, that appear to be getting something out of this too. So that's fantastic. Tell your friends, tell your family, get everybody signed up to watch this idiot try to stop taking drugs and go nuts. But yeah, so this is a fun adventure so far. It hasn't. Well, I got to tell you, it's not easy. Making yourself sit down and do this when you really don't feel like doing anything at all. So today, not a problem. Just a matter of trying to keep the dog from dragging me outside every 5 minutes. All right. So I've got some stuff to do, and it's getting late. Holy shit, this is a really long video. Pardon my language. I had no idea what was going on for this long. And yeah, you get a little peek at Watson back there. And I'll try to post that video later tonight or tomorrow. Little one I have of him. But yeah, like I said, I have some trouble with my phone and with some other computer stuff. So good times. God bless y'all, and thanks for sticking around. Good grief. All right. Good night.